Oh, I'm
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome the historic Lawrence Dumont Stadium along the banks of the Arkansas River for the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series, powered by Westar Energy. This is Frank Martinez, and I will be your play-by-play announcer for tonight's game. We are in championship week here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium. This game will feature the visiting team, the Dodge City, Kansas A's from the Jayhawk Baseball League. The home team will be the Seattle Washington Studs from the Pacific International League. Here's our starting lineups for today's game. First of all, for the visiting team, the Dodge City, Kansas A's, leading off and playing center field will be number 1, Kyle Cullen. Batting second, the third baseman will be number 30, Adam Holler. Batting third and playing first base will be number 31, Conor Van Cleave. Batting fourth and playing second base, number 22, Owen Jensen. Batting fifth and DHing will be number 4, Dayton Cook. Batting sixth and playing left field will be number 12, Jordan Vukovich. Batting seventh and playing shortstop will be number 2, Zach Felix. Batting eighth and catching number 23, Casey Opetz. Batting ninth and playing right field will be number 10, Isaiah Haddad. Pitching for Dodge City will be number 13, Robert Gonzales. Gonzales on the mound for the A's. The A's are coached by head coach Tony Gonzales, assisted by Robert Beltran, Taylor Doan, and Ryan Roth. Now here's the starting lineup for the home team, the Seattle Washington Studs. Leading off and playing center field will be number 5, Conor Savage. Batting second and playing shortstop will be number 28, Colin Wolf. Batting third and playing third base will be number 6, Kyle Bowe. Batting fourth, playing right field will be number 10, Landon Ryker. Batting fifth and DHing, number 23, Britton Handcart. Batting sixth and playing second base will be number 7, Matt Zoba. Batting seventh, playing first base will be number 30, Tanner Arrington. Batting eighth and catching, number 2, Garrett Brady. Batting ninth and playing left field will be number 4, Jacob Hirsch. And pitching for Seattle will be number 80, Mitch Vito. Vito on the mound for the Studs. The Studs are coached by head coach Barry Aiden, assisted by Benson Pennington, Chipper, and Steve Potter. Equipment manager is Tegan Aiden. Our officials or umpires for today's game at home plate will be Kevin Rain. First base is Travis Olson. And at third base, Ben Harlow. Once again, the Seattle Washington Studs come from the Pacific International League. Dodge City comes from the Jayhawk Baseball League, where they ended up in second place this year with a 24-14 record. The last 10 games, they are 7-3. Beautiful night here in Wichita, Kansas, along the banks of the Arkansas River, as we're about ready to get underway. We have a great crowd here this evening on a Friday evening. It is college night here in Lawrence Dumont Stadium for the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series. College students got in free with an ID, and I believe they're having drink specials here tonight. So the crowd is a little rowdy tonight, but that's great. All right, we're ready to get underway. Leading off for Dodge City will be the center fielder, number 1, Kyle Cullen. Cullen bats left-handed, throws left-handed. Is from Mansfield, Texas. He's a 5'10", 155-pounder from Stephen F. Austin University. And Mitch Vito is ready for his first pitch. Called strike 1 by home plate umpire Kevin Rain. And we're underway. 10:04 is the start time for this ball game. Second pitch is in for strike 2. 0-2 now the count as Vito gets up on Kyle Cullen to start off the ball game. Vito, that misses outside. Vito is a right-handed thrower from Otho, Washington, and he's a 6'4", 205-pounder from the College of Idaho. He's a graduate from College of Idaho. There's a foul ball along the third base side into the stands for a souvenir of the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series, powered by Westar Energy. So the count is 1-2 as we're just underway here. The top half of the first inning between the Dodge City, Kansas A's and the Seattle, Washington Studs. 2-2 now to Kyle Cullen. Infield playing normal. This is a artificial turf and it's awful fast. So they are playing back just a little bit on the infield. Ball gets to you quickly here on this turf. Everything is turf except for the pitcher's mound. A pitcher's mound is the only thing that we have that is dirt. All right, there's a ball hit to the shortstop. Wolf goes to his left on a big hop, goes to first to Arrington for out number 1. 6-3 on the put out for out number 1. That's going to bring up the third baseman, number 30, Adam Holler. Adam throws right, bats right. From Livermore, California. He's a 5'10", 170-pounder from Cal State East Bay. And here's the pitch from Vito. It is fouled off. So the count is 0-1 with 1 out here in the top half of the first inning. Vito looks for the sign. And here's the pitch. A breaking ball, about 73 miles per hour. Call strike 2. So the count is 0-2 now to Adam Holler. And here's the pitch. Just missing outside. They are going to appeal at first base. And first base umpire Travis Olson says no, he didn't go. So the count goes to 1-2 to Adam Holler. If you've never been to Wichita, Kansas for the World Series, you're missing a great background of the city of Wichita. It's lit up right along the banks of the Arkansas River. Count is 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Holler. And here comes Vito's pitch is fouled off, so the count stays 2-2. Nice job there by Adam Holler as he fought that one off. Outfield's playing about normal range. As they're taking a look at Holler for the very first time, there's another foul ball to the right-hand side. This one leaves the stadium. So the count is still 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out here in the top half of the first inning. This is the first game for both these two teams this is day 1 of championship week. We had games all last week with 2 qualifiers moving to the championship week, and there's a fly ball to the right-hand side. Arrington's takes a chase along with Ryker and Zobuk. None of them can get to it. And it falls in for a foul ball, so the count stays at 2-2. And we're ready for the pitch from Vito. Swing and a miss from Adam Holler. And Vito records his first strikeout. This is out number 2. It's going to bring up the first baseman, number 31, Conor Van Cleave. And Van Cleave is a left-handed batter, throws left-handed from Holcomb, Kansas. Big kid, 6'7", 235 pounders from the University of Kansas. And first pitch was swinging, strike 1. Second pitch is in there for strikes, so the count goes to no balls, 2 strikes against Conor Van Cleave. And here's Vito's pitch. Missing outside. Brady. The ball popped out of Brady's glove. The umpire gives him a new ball. And the count goes to 1-2 now with 2 outs and nobody on base. Top half of the first inning here of this ball game. And there's a foul ball. That goes out of the stadium. Fouled off by Van Cleave. And the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Van Cleave. Van Cleave pops one up over second baseman Zobuk and gets under it. Makes the catch for out number 3. So top half of the first inning for Dodge City. They scored no runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. And we'll be right back.
The city's not just built. It's grown to the needs of people. You make the infrastructure, the muscle, bone, and circulation, so natural to the body of the city that you almost forget they're even there.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium, 84th National Baseball Congress World Series, powered by Westar Energy. We are in the bottom half of the first inning between the Dodge City, Kansas A's, who is the visiting team, and the Seattle Washington Studs. Pitching for Dodge City will be number 13, Robert Gonzales. Gonzales is a left-handed pitcher. His hometown is Highland, California. He is 5'8", 175-pounder from Arizona Western College. Defensively for him, at first base, Van Cleave. Second baseman, Jansen. Shortstop will be Felix. Third base, Holler. Left field, Vukovich. Center fielder will be Cohen. Right fielder will be Haddad. Catching is Opetz Christian. Now batting for Seattle will be the center fielder, number 5, Conor Savage. Savage is a left-handed batter, throws left. Ralph Washington is a 6'1", 185-pounder. He's a graduate from University. Ball hit to the right-hand side. Jensen goes to Van Cleave for out number 1.
Shortstop number 28, Colin Wolf.
So we have a 4-3 put out, and that's going to bring up the shortstop number 28, Colin Wolf. Jensen just moved to his left to make that play to get the out at first base. Colin Wolf bats right-handed, throws right-handed. He's a 5'11", 195-pounder. Sophomore out of Tacoma Community College. There's a hard hit ball into center field. So Wolf will be recording his first hit of the game and the first hit of the game. One pitch and Wolf is on base. Now batting will be the third baseman, number 6, Kyle Bowe.
Third baseman number 6, Kyle Bowe.
And Bowe is a 6', 195-pounder. He's a graduate from Western Oregon University. Comes from Cedro Woolley, Washington. Count is 1 ball and no strikes. As Robert Gonzales comes in with a ball high. 2 balls, no strikes, with Wolf at first base after that base hit up the middle into center field. And we have 1 out here in the bottom half of the first inning. And the throw over to first base, and Wolf is back. Van Cleave made the tag, but not in time. Nice move there by Robert Gonzales. There's a foul ball. Fouled off by Kyle Bowe. So the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike with 1 out. And here's the pitch from Gonzales. Call strike 2. 2-2 now the count to Kyle Bowe. Missing inside. Ball gets away from Opetz, but is able to corral the ball. And Wolf was not going anywhere. So the count goes full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out here in the bottom half of the first inning. Missing inside. So Bowe will be at first base on a base on balls. Wolf goes to second base. And it's going to bring up the right fielder, number 10, Landon Ryker. Ryker is a right-handed batter from Marysville, Washington. He's a 5'10", 190-pounder. redshirt from Vanguard University. And Opetz goes out to talk to Gonzales. Once again, we have runners at first and second base here in the bottom half of the first inning with one out. As the Seattle Washingtons are up to bat, they are wearing an all-white uniform tonight with black socks. Old-style uniform. I really like them. And the Dodge City A's are in green and gray with green hats. Yellow numbers. Count is 1-1 now to Landon Ryker. Here's the pitch. Call strike 2. So the count goes to 1-2 to right fielder Landon Ryker for the Seattle Studs. Ball hit between the shortstop. Felix goes to the right, makes the stop, but cannot make a play anywhere. So the bases are going to be full. Everybody's safe. We'll be at third base. Bo is at second base, and Ryker is in with a base hit, as Felix was able to go to his right and make the stop, but not able to make a play. So now batting will be the designated hitter, number 23, Britton Handcart. Britton is a left-handed, batting left-handed. He's from Everett, Washington. He's a 6'3", 195-pounder. Sophomore out of Bellevue Community College. And there's a foul ball to the left-hand side, and a fan makes a great catch in the stands. He now has a souvenir, courtesy of the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series. 1-1 now to Hancock, and there's a fouled off right back towards us, right underneath us. Here's it went up to the netting area. 1-2 to count now. Runners at first, second, and third base with one out here in the bottom half of the first inning as the Seattle Studs are threatening. There's a hard hit ball along the right-hand side, but that's going to go foul as it leaves the stadium, but just right of the foul pole. And Hancock shakes his head like he knew that was the pitch. Just turned on it just a little bit too quick. And it goes foul. 1-2 the count now to Hancock. There's a swing and a miss by Hancock. And Robert Gonzales records his first strikeout. That's out number 2 here in the inning. Brings up the second baseman, number 7, Matt Zuma. Zuma is a right-handed batter. From Whittenville, Washington, he is a 5'9", 175-pounder, a freshman out of the University of Northern Colorado. Fouled that off, so the count is no balls and 1 strike. Bases still full with 2 outs now here in the bottom half of the first. That pitch just missing outside from Robert Gonzales. Evens up the count now to 1-1 strike. To Matt Zoba, second baseman for the Seattle Studs. There's a hard foul ball. That's going to leave the stadium. And the count goes 1-2 strikes now to Matt Zoba. We have a little wind here in Wichita today, and it's kind of, with the temperature 78 degrees, really a great evening to be in the stands and watching some baseball. There's a throw down to first base, and they get Ryker as he tries to slide back. Piece to Van Cleave for out number 3. So it's a 2-3 play and no score. So we'll be right back at the end of 1.
Mount up, take off, and chase the sun. Experience more of what makes Kansas great. And let K-Tag help you get there. 236 miles of road, endless destinations of wonder. Start your adventure with K-Tag. Get your free K-Tag at myktag.com.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium for the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series, powered by Westar Energy. We are along the banks of the Arkansas River here in Wichita, Kansas, as we get ready to start off the top half of the second inning. Second time to bat for the Dodge City, Kansas A's. And leading off for the A's will be the second baseman, number 22, Owen Jensen. Jensen is from Oakville, Ontario. He's a 5'11", 190-pounder from Purdue University. And Jensen was not in the batter's box with 5 seconds to go. And the horn sounded, so it's called strike 1 against Jensen. We do have a 90-second between inning. That's what keeps our games supposedly on time. 20 seconds between pitches. And if the pitcher doesn't throw the ball within that 20 seconds the horn sounds, it's a ball for the batter. And if the batter's not in the batter's box within 5 seconds and the horn sounds, then it's a strike against the batter. That was a swinging strike 3. That's going to bring up the designated hitter, number 4, Dayton Cook, for Dodge City. And Dayton Cook is from Spanish Fort, Alabama, the town that my daughter lives in, Alicia Martinez. If you're listening, hope you're having a good evening, and I hope you're enjoying the telecast. He's a 6-foot, 180-pounder from Point University, and there's a swing and a miss. Count goes to 0-2. Also better say hi to my grandson, Nico, if he's listening in, from Spanish Port, Alabama. Matter of fact, after the tournament's over here, that's where I'm headed to go visit them. There's a ball hit to the Lido, and it's misplayed there at first base. And we'll see exactly what the official score is. But Cook ends up at first base. And that's going to bring up the left fielder, number 12, Jordan Vukovich. And I spoke to Jordan Vukovich, before the game to try to get pronunciation of his name. And he told me to make sure I told his grandparents and mom and dad hello, that he's doing fine, and he just got a base hit for you as he hit that into right field. So I passed the message along. We're hoping you're enjoying the telecast. So Cook is at second base. Vukovich at first with that base hit, and that brings up the shortstop, number 2, Zach Felix. Felix is from Pueblo, Colorado, 5'9", 170-pounders from New Mexico State University. And I was going to say, Vukovich is from Sacramento, California. He's a 6'1", 200-pounder went to Delta College. So, like I say, I hope the parents heard that message. He wanted me to make sure I pass that on. All right, we have 2 hits now for Dodge City, as that was recorded as a hit on Cook. And a swing and a miss by Zach Felix. So the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes, with a runner at first and second for Dodge City, and 1 out here in the top half of the second inning. And pitch misses inside, so it evens up the count now to 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Vito's pitch is fouled off by Felix. Gets through the netting and goes into the stands. I heard it hit some of the seats there. 2-2 the count. Not too big of a lead by either runner. Shortstop is holding the Cook at second base, and there's another foul ball, and it goes into the stands. And another souvenir. And gentleman grabs the ball and tosses it to a young kid, so that he now has a souvenir, courtesy of the NBC. 2-2 now the count. There's a pitch just missing high, so the count's going to go full now, 3-2. And shortstop Wolf comes in, talk to Vito. Now he backs up and gets back in position. Once again, we have count is 3 balls, 2 strikes, runners at first and second with 1 out here in the top half of the second inning for Dodge City. And there's a hard hit ball to shortstop. Shortstop gets a glove on it. Woof, but the ball goes into center field, and around third base comes Cook as he scores the first run of the ball game on that hard hit by Zach Felix. Second baseman was cheated over to the second place as he was holding Cook on, but the ball went off his glove. And that's going to bring up the catcher, number 23, KZO Pitts. And now we have 2 hits for Dodge City. That Vito misses inside. Count is 1 ball and no strikes. So now we have Vukovich at second base and Felix at first base on that base hit. And actually the official score has not recorded that a base hit, so we're still just showing 2 hits. But we do have 1 run up on the board for Dodge City as they take the lead 1-0 over the Seattle Studs. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. To Opetz, catcher for Dodge City. And here's Vito's pitch and struck out is Opetz as Vito records his second strikeout of the ball game. That's going to bring up the right fielder, number 10, Isaiah Haddad.
Right fielder number 10, Isaiah Haddad.
And we have 2 down now here in the top half of the second inning. As Vito has struck out 2 here in the second. But there has been 3 hits. Point streak just showing 2 right now, but like I say, no error has been put up. There's a foul ball along the third base side. So 0-2 now the count. Scoreboard operator is showing an error, but like I say, the point streak official scores have not put up anything yet. We're still waiting on that. There's a ball hit to the right-hand side. Zuma gets under it and throws to first base as the ball hit the turf and bounced up. And at the end of 1.5 inning of play, it is Dodge City A's 1 and the Seattle Washington Studs 0. We'll be right back.
If we really put everything in our name that we do, it would look like this. Professional mechanical, electrical, plumbing, structural, telecommunications, civil, transportation, aviation, water, wastewater, energy, land development, planning, field services, survey, geotechnical, materials testing, inspection, 3D scanning, air and water balance, engineering consultants.
And we welcome back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium. Here watching and listening to the Seattle Washington Studs versus the Dodge City Kansas A's as we hit down to the bottom half of the second inning. Here for the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series, powered by Westar Energy. Leading off for the Studs will be second baseman number 7, Matt Zuma, who made that last play 4-3. And there's a swing and a miss. Robert Gonzales starting his second inning of work. Now the official scores have recorded that as an error. So Felix there's the ball hit to the shortstop, second baseman Jansen jumps up and makes the catch for out number 1. So F4 is the play.
First baseman number 30, Tanner Arrington.
Brings up the first baseman number 30, Tanner Arrington. There's a breaking pitch, 68 miles per hour, calls strike 1 to Arrington. It's Arrington's first appearance here in the National Baseball Congress World Series. 0-2 now the count. Gonzales, nice pitch there by Gonzales as Arrington goes down swinging for out number 2. And Gonzales records his second strikeout of the ball game. Going to bring up the catcher number 2, Garrett Brady. Brady has been playing in this tournament for many years. There's a pitch outside from Gonzales. So the count is 1 ball, no strikes, with 2 outs here in the bottom half of the second inning. And the score, the Dodge City Kansas A's 1, the Seattle Washington Studs 0. There's a hard hit ball into left field. That looks like that may be gone, and it is. It's going to be a home run by catcher number 2, Garrett Brady. And just like that, we're tied up at 1 apiece. That was a good 400 feet out. As that cleared the fence by quite a ways. So a home run for Garrett Breda ties up the ball game. It's going to bring up the left fielder number 4, Jacob Hirsch. As soon as that ball was hit, you knew that it was gone. There's a high fly ball. Vukovich backing up as he first came in, and he makes the catch for out number 3. So the end of 2 innings of play, the score tied up at 1 apiece. We'll be right back.
Kansas Gas Service delivers natural gas to many of the companies you know, ensuring they have the energy they need to grow and build strong communities, providing cost-effective, safe, and reliable natural gas for a better tomorrow today. Kansas Gas Service.
Well, we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium, National Baseball Congress World Series, 84th edition, powered by Westar Energy. We're in the top half of the 3rd inning as the Dodge City A's have 1 and the Seattle Studs also have 1 run. Both runs coming in the 2nd inning here of the ball game. Once again, we're in the top half of the 3rd inning. And Vito will be starting his 3rd inning of work. And coming up to bat will be the center fielder, number 1, Kyle Cullen, who grounded out to the shortstop his first time at bat. His first pitch hit to Jansen at second base, moves to his right, goes to first. Van Cleave for out number 1. 4-3 the put out. And it's going to bring up the third baseman, number 30, Adam Holler. Holler struck out his first time at bat in the top half of the 1st inning as he was the 2nd batter in the inning. And a ball hit up the middle, shortstop. There's a collision at first base, and first baseman Arrington is down. And right away, everybody goes to attend to him. He's moving around and they're talking to him, and he's like just getting ready to get up. So Tanner Arrington gets banged up at first base, but he's up. I believe the runner ran right into him. Kind of shook him up a little bit. That's going to bring up the first baseman, number 31, Conor Van Cleave, for the Dodge City, Kansas A's. Scoreboard operator has already got an error on the play. The ball was hit to, there's a hard hit ball from Van Cleave into right field. Ryker comes up with it, tosses it in home. So Holler's at second base. Van Cleave is on with his first hit of the game. And it's going to bring up the second baseman, number 22, Owen Jansen. Jansen started off the top half of the 2nd inning with a strikeout. This is his second time at bat here in the ball game. Runners at first and second with one out, and there's a hard hit ball into right field by Jensen. Coming around third base is Holler, but the ball goes to second base. Now standing at second base will be Van Cleave, and Jensen's in with a base hit. As now Dodge City takes a 2-1 lead over the Seattle Studs. Going to bring up the designated hitter number 4, Dayton Cook. Cook batted in the top half of the second inning, had a base hit, and ended up scoring a run. And another base hit into right field by Cook. So he records his second hit of the game, but this time Van Cleave holds up at third base. At second base will be Jensen. And Dayton Cook records his second hit of the game. And now the catcher, Brady, goes out to speak to Vito as the bases are full now. And coming up, the left fielder, number 12, Jordan Vukovich. Vukovich is up for the second time as he got a base hit in the second inning and was stranded at second base in that inning. And a swing and a miss. Fouled off there by Vukovich. And the count is no balls and 2 strikes now. With the bases loaded and 1 down here in the top half of the third inning. There's a foul ball along the left-hand side as the Dodge City A's retake the lead here in the top half of the third inning, and they're not quite done yet as the bases are still full. Vito's pitch misses high. So the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. And here's the pitch. There's a little slap hit into left field, falls in for a base hit. Vukovich is at first base, and it's going to score the runner at third base, Van Cleave, and now the score 3-1 now in favor of Dodge City. Jansen is at third base. Cook is now at second. And Vukovich records his second hit of the game. And an RBI brings up the shortstop, number 2, Zach Felix. And Vito's pitch missing outside. The count is 1 ball, no strikes. Base is still full with 1 out. The top half of the third inning. Count evens up now at 1 ball, 1 strike. Still have 1 down. Vito's pitch is called strike 2. As Vito's up to 55 pitches already. Working here in the third inning. And the count goes 2-2 now. So we have 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out with the bases full. And Vito steps off the mound. They'll restart the pitch clock. And there's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. And that is the second out of the inning. Going to bring up the catcher, number 23, Casey Opitz.
Catcher number 23, Casey Opitz.
As Vito records his 4th strikeout of the ball game. 1-0 now to Opitz, who struck out in the second inning to make the second out of that inning. As Dodge City stranded 2 runners there in the top half of the second inning, but they did score 1 run. 2 balls, no strikes to Opitz. Just a call, strike 1. 2-1 now the count. Ball fouled off, and it's 2-2 now. Once again, we have Jansen at third base, Cook at second base, Vukovich at first base. And there's a swing and a miss, striked out as he strikes out the last 2 batters and gets out of the inning. So at the end of 2.5 innings of play, it's Dodge City 3 and Seattle 1. We'll be right back.
This bud's for the dream and the people bold enough to pursue it. For those who come from nothing and rise to something. It's for those who take everything this country has to offer and make it their own.
And we welcome you back. This ball game between the Seattle Washington Studs, the home team, and the visiting team, the Dodge City Kansas A's. It is Dodge City 3 and Seattle 1 as we go to the bottom half of the third inning of this 84th National Baseball Congress World Series, powered by Westar Energy. This is Frank Martinez, your play-by-play announcer for tonight. And there's Robert Gonzales, starts his third inning work. First pitch is a strike, 0-1 the count. Missing low, the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike now. Dodge City scored 1 run in the top half of the first inning. The Seattle Studs came back and answered as the ball hit to the filled out to Holler at third base. So F5 is the play for out number 1. That's going to bring up the shortstop, number 28, Colin Wolf. As I was saying, the Seattle came back and answered Dodge City with 1 run in the bottom half of the second. And then Dodge City scored 2 runs in the top half of the third inning to retake the lead. They are now up 3-1. They have 6 hits. And Seattle has 1 run with 3 hits. Count is 2 balls and no strikes to Colin Wolf, as we have 1 out here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Here's a pitch from Gonzales, hits the outside corner. 2-1 now, the count. Still a great crowd here, almost 10:53 p.m. on a Friday evening, 78 degrees. That's called strike 2. So the count evens up at 2-2 now. To the shortstop, Colin Wood for the Seattle Studs. There's a change up there. High, been fouled off by Wolf. And an effort there by Van Cleave. But it goes foul. Also hustling down was Opitz. 2-2. And here's Gonzales' pitch. And a ball hit right back up the middle, just over the left side of Robert Gonzales. And Colin Wolf records his 2nd hit of the game. So he has 2 singles. It's going to bring up the third baseman, number 6, Kyle Bowe. Bowe reached on base in the bottom half of the 1st inning as he drew a base on balls, but was left stranded at second base. There's a pickoff attempt at first base. Wolf back safely. There's Gonzales' pitch in for a call, strike 1. So the count goes no balls, 1 strike. Runner at first base with 1 out here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Pitch from Gonzales misses inside. Pez knocks it down. Runner does not advance. And we're at 1-1 now. And the Seattle fans are making a little noise in the stands. There's the ball, hits the shortstop. Felix goes to Jansen. Jansen over to Van Cleave for the double play. And just like that, the thread is over. So at the end of 3 innings of play, it is Dodge City 3 and Seattle 1. We'll be right back.
At Davis Moore, we pride ourselves on our ability to provide a safe and reliable driving experience to all of our customers. When we say that safety is our top priority, we mean it. That's why every single one of our pre-owned vehicles goes through a 171-point inspection before it ever goes on our lot. And with our Davis Moore 360 guarantee, you can drive forever, worry-free. So let us prove to you that we have the best car care and best customer experience, and why nobody beats a Davis Moore deal. Come by any one of our 5 Davis Moore locations or check us out online at davis-moore.com.
And we welcome you back here for this ball game between Dodge City and Seattle. This is Frank Martinez, your play-by-play announcer for tonight's game. And we're ready to start the top half of the 4th inning. It'll be the right fielder, number 10, Isaiah Haddad. Going to bring up that ball was hit to the third baseman, Bowe, and it goes 5-3. Next up is the center fielder, number 1, Kyle Cullen, and it's called ball 1.
Your attention now,
Vito. Starting his 4th inning of work. We are going to have a new first baseman for Seattle. Number 3, Henry Cheney. As Arrington got hurt that last inning, as he was ran into by a base runner. So now playing first base, number 3, Henry Cheney. Cheney's from Gig Arbor, Washington. He's a 6-foot, 200-pounder. Sophomore out of the University of Portland. Count is 2 balls, 2 strikes to Landon Ryker. Correction. That was Kyle Cullen.
Hey, welcome to college night.
And he
College students get in
grounded out.
every Friday night at the NBC World Series.
6-3 on the play. It's going to be now bringing up the Dodge City, the third baseman, number 30, Adam Holler. We have 2 down now in the top half of the 4th inning.
First baseman number 31, Conor Van Cleave. Correction, number 30, third baseman, Adam Holler.
Adam Holler reached in the last inning on an error to the shortstop. Been up the bat twice, has scored 1 run, and has 1 strikeout against him. There's a popper to the pitcher, who can only attempt to make it to first base, but through right of the first baseman. So on at first base will be Adam Holler with a base hit. It's going to bring up the first baseman, number 31, Conor Van Cleave. So Holler records his first hit of the game. Van Cleave is 1 out of 2, has scored 1 run. The first pitch is ball by Vito. Mitch Vito, once again starting the 4th inning of work for the Seattle Studs. Ball fouled off. The count is 1 ball, 1 strike. Vito's pitch missing outside. As Brady was set up outside. They're saying the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. Scoreboard operator had 2 balls, 1 strike. It is 1 ball, 2 strikes. As we're looking at it now on Point Streak. And Holler's back at first base as Vito attempted to pick him off. It's just a little warning sign, just saying, I know you're still there. Don't think it was a quick throw over. And there's a pitch up high now. So the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first base. And 2 down here in the top half of the 4th inning. With the score of the Dodge City A's 3 and the Seattle Washington Studs 1. Dodge City does have 7 hits in this ball game. There goes Holler, but a swing and a miss for strike 3. And at the end of 3.5, it's the A's 3 and the Studs 1. We'll be right back. Well, we welcome you back. This game between the Seattle Washington Studs and the Dodge City, Kansas A's. We're in the bottom half of the fourth inning. And Robert Gonzales still in there pitching for Dodge City. Now batting is the right fielder, number 10, Landon Ryker. First pitch is the ball, 1-0 now the count. And there's a foul ball, goes out of the stadium. So that evens up the count now to 1-1.
Insurance agency a call. Make sure that you and your family are protected at 316-773-9864.
Ryker is 1 for 1. As he got a base hit in the bottom half of the first inning. There's a fly ball into right center field. Center fielder is going to make the catch. That is Cullen for out number 1. So F8 on the play. That's going to bring up the designated hitter, number 23, Britton Handcart. Handcart is 0 for 1 as he struck out his first time, and that foul ball hits the home plate umpire. Kevin Rain. We're going to have a small timeout here as they're tending to him. Trainers come out, the coaches come out. Kind of stunned him there because he just didn't move. So Travis Olson from first base and Ben Harlow come down to check on him, make sure he's okay. I think they're going to give him a drink of water just to make sure he's all right. Say that ball was fouled off the bat, and it just went directly on him. Didn't have a chance to move, and he just kind of stunned him and did move for just a little bit. Give Opetz credit at home plate there, as he right away knew something was wrong with the home plate umpire. Turned around and checked on him and looked over to the bench, and right away they came out to make sure he's okay. About 11:07 here in Wichita. 79 degrees. The wind's been blowing at a good pace here today, which has really cooled off the stadium. And I was down into the stands at the 7 o'clock game just talking to some fans, and they said they were really enjoying the weather. Kevin Rain is taking just a little while to get his senses here. And the chief umpire is coming out to talk to him. And I think they're getting ready to replace him because it got him pretty good. Chief umpire is telling him, no, you need to come out. So Kevin Rain will be replaced at home plate. So he got stunned pretty good, and for safety purposes, I think they're doing the right thing because, like I say, he didn't move for a little while. But he is walking off on his own. So we're going to take just a small break, and we'll be right back as they replace the home plate umpire. And not sure whether we'll get the information of who it will be, but I'm thinking it may be the first base umpire, which would be Travis Olson, because he right away start working his way to the umpire's headquarters. Ben Harlow is still out there. He was at third base. So we're going to take a small break, and we'll be right back. All right, fans, we welcome you back here at the Lawrence Dumont Stadium as we're back. The umpires have finally made it back as home plate umpire Kevin Rain took a foul ball and was not able to regain, to continue, I should say. So Travis Olson moves from first base to umpire home plate, and Kevin Spisak is now your first base umpire. Britton Handcart records a base hit as he hits the ball into shortstop. We thank you very much for being patient with us, as we're now back into action here. We're in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Brings up the second baseman, number 7, Matt Zuma. He lays down a bunt, a great bunt down third base side, and he beats it out as Holler made a great attempt but was not able to get the ball to first base in time. So Zuma records his first hit of the game, brings up the first baseman, number 3, Henry Cheney, who replaced Tanner Arrington at first base on a collision that happened the inning before. And now Hancock's at second base. Zuma is at first with 2 consecutive base hits. Robert Gonzales still pitching for Dodge City. Spisak replaced, goes to first base, and Travis Olson goes to home, and still at third base is Ben Harlow as far as our umpires go. Count is 1 ball, 1 strike to Henry Cheney, with runners at first and second and 1 out. There's a pitch missing high and outside from Gonzales. 2-1 the count. And Gonzales steps off, makes Handcart go back to second base. "57 pitches by Gonzales so far here in the fourth inning. There's a swing and a miss by Cheney. That was 84 miles an hour by Robert Gonzales, as the count goes to 2-2 now. 1 down here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. So there's a throw down to second base. Ball's going to go away into center field as Hancock was heading to third base on the play. Ball gets between Jansen and Felix. See, went into center field. So Hancock scores from second base. Zoba's still at first. And the score now 3-2 in favor of Dodge City over Seattle. Count is 3 balls, 2 strikes now to Cheney. And Gonzales goes over to first base. Zoba diving back in. He's trying to keep him there. And here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 as Cheney goes down for out number 2.
Strike out this summer with other heating and air brands. Choose Wichita's hometown brand, York. Visit MidwestYork.com to find your nearest York.
That is the 3rd strikeout recorded by Gonzales. Brings up the catcher number 2, Garrett Breda. There's a fly ball into right field. Right fielder Haddad backs up and moves to his right and gets under it for out number 3. So at the end of 4 innings of play, it is Dodge City 3 and Seattle 2. We'll be right back. And we welcome you back. This is Frank Martinez, your play-by-play announcer, as we head up to the top half of the fifth inning. Up for Dodge City will be second baseman number 22, Owen Jansen. Jansen's third time to bat. And Jansen is 1 for 2. Has 1 RBI and 1 strikeout. So got that base hit in the third inning when Dodge City scored 2 runs. 1 ball, no strikes now to Owen Jansen, the second baseman for Dodge City. And Vito starting his 5th inning of work. 1 ball, 1 strike now. 2-1 now as he misses high. Again, Vito, 6'4", 205-pounder. And the count is 2 balls and 1 strike now to Owen Jansen as he leads off the top half of the 5th inning in a 3-2 ball game. That ball hit to the third baseman. Bo backs up a little bit, throws to first for out number 1. 5-3 the play. It's going to bring up the designated hitter, number 4, Dayton Cook. Cook is 1 for 2, has 1 run scored, and he's batting .500 now here in the tournament. On my score sheet, I have him 2 for 2, so I don't know what's going on here, but 0-2 the count to Cook. Let me refresh this point streak here, see if it gives me something different. But I have him having a base hit in the second inning, also a base hit in the third inning with an RBI. Base hit in the second inning and scored a run, correction, and a base hit in the third inning. They're showing him 1 for 2. Anyway, the count is no balls, 2 strikes to Dayton Cook. Just missing outside low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. With 1 out here in the top half of the 5th inning. Vito missing outside. 2-2 now the count. Infield at normal depth here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium. Right fielder in just a little bit. There's a ball hit to the right side, going to go foul. And I see a kid with a glove snag that ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on base with 1 out. As we're in the top half of the 5th inning, Dodge City 3 and Seattle 2. And there's a swing and a miss by Dayton Cook. As Vito records his 7th strikeout of the ball game. That's going to bring up left fielder number 12, Jordan Vukovich. And call strike one. And I believe it's Vukovich. Sometimes you go down there and get the names, and by the time you come back up, you tend to forget. There's a swing and a miss for strike two now, 0-2 the count. Or sometimes you start listening to the PA announcer and he pronounces it differently than you do. And gets you off your thought. 1 ball, 2 strikes. As we have 2 down here in the top half of the 5th inning. And there's a call, strike 3 for out number 3. Vito records his 8th strikeout of the ball game. At the end of 4.5 innings of play, it is Dodge City 3 and Seattle 2. We'll be right back.
Make the most of every single moment. After the game, see what's happening at visitwichita.com.
Welcome you back as we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning between the Seattle Studs and the Dodge City A's. Leading off for the Studs will be the left fielder, number 4, Jacob Hirsch. Hirsch, second time to bat. First time he flew out to left field in the 2nd inning. Want to know the count? Gonzales comes in with a strike to even up the count now to 1-1. And Gonzales is in his 5th inning of work. 2 balls and 1 strike now. He has a total of 64 pitches here so far in the ball game. There's a pitch at 83 miles an hour. And the count is 3-1 now to Jacob Hirsch. There's a ball hit into right field, falls in front of Haddad. And Hirsch records his first hit of the game. Not a hard hit ball, but just a nice little looper that you knew right away that was going to fall in. That's going to bring up the center fielder, number 5, Conor Savage. Savage looking for his first hit of the game as he grounded out to second base and flew out to the third baseman. There's a bunt laid down, and Gonzales goes to first base. A nice job there by Gonzales as he gets off that mound and goes after that bunt laid down by Savage. We have a sacrifice bunt as Hirsch moves to second base on the 1-3 play for out number 1. Brings up the shortstop, number 28, Colin Wolf. So the tying run now at second base. Seattle is down 3-2 to Dodge City here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Pitch by Gonzales missing. Count is 1 ball and no strikes. And the Seattle fans once again trying to rally their team. There's a lot of Wichita fans that are Seattle fans that used to live there. And they come to the tournament every year supporting the Seattle Washington Studs. 1 ball, 1 strike now is the call to Colin Wolf. Wolf has 2 hits in the ball game. He is 2 for 2. That ball missing. Count now is 2-1. With Hirsch at second base and only 1 down here in the bottom half of the 5th inning for Seattle. Gonzales pitch, ball hit to the right-hand side, foul territory. And it's going to even up the count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The score line for Dodge City shows 3-7-1. And for the Seattle Studs, 2-7-2. And here's Gonzales' pitch. Missing high and outside. And a nice job there by catcher Lopez. As the count goes full now to Colin Wolf, shortstop for Seattle. 1 out. And there's a breaking ball going. Ball hit foul by Wolf. So the count stays full. 3-2. Looked like Robert Gonzales was trying to sneak that by him. And a nice job there by Colin Wolf staying back with his hands and was able to foul it off. So the count full, 3-2. Yes, and there's the umpire says that the horn sounded as the pitcher was getting ready to deliver the ball. So with that full count, that could have been a ball or strike, but the umpire says no, he moved at the same time, so there's no pitch. So the count still stays at 3-2. And a missing high is Gonzales, so Wolf will be at first base with a base on balls. Hirsch still at second base. And to bring up the third baseman, number 6, Kyle Bowe. Kyle Bowe walked in the first inning and hit into a double play, 6-4-3, to end the inning in the third inning. So he's looking for his first hit, and Gonzales goes to first base and gets Colin Wolf as he was leaning towards second. And there was Van Cleave to make the tag on Wolf for out number 2. So the play goes 1-3 for the second put out. That's going to bring up the third baseman, number 6, Kyle Bowe is still up at the home plate. One ball, no strikes. There's a hard hit ball into center field. Colin gets under it, makes the catch for out number 3. At the end of 5 innings of play, it is Dodge City 3 and Seattle 2, and we'll be right back.
The wait is over. The multi-platinum award-winning duo Sugarland back on tour for the first time in 5 years. Still the same 2018 tour. Saturday, August 18th at Entrust Bank Arena. The undeniable distinctive sound of Sugarland with special guest Frankie Ballard and Lindsay L. Tickets are on sale now at selectaseat.com. Get ready for Sugarland.
And we welcome you back. We're late going off to the top half of the sixth inning. Dodge City brings up the shortstop number 2, Zach Felix.
Shortstop number 2, Zach Felix.
Felix hits the ball to the second baseman. Zoba goes to Cheney for out number 1. 4-3 the play. Brings up the catcher number 23, Casey Opitz. Casey looking for his first hit of the game. He has struck out twice in this ball game. Count is ball 1. Again, we're in the top half of the sixth inning. There's the ball, hits the right-hand side. Cheney says, I'll take it. Goes unassisted for out number 2. That brings up the right fielder number 10, Isaiah Haddad. Haddad is from Fresno, California, 6'3", 175-pounder from Fresno State University. Call strike 1. No balls, 1 strike with 2 outs here in the top half of the sixth inning. 3-2 in favor of Dodge City over Seattle. And a fly ball in the infield. The first baseman comes in. Cheney makes the catch for out number 3. And that ends at the end of 5.5 innings of play. The score, Dodge City 3 and Seattle 2. We'll be right back.
Leonard Skinner, last of the street survivors, farewell tour. Saturday, September 29th in Trust Bank Arena. With special guest, the Marshall Tucker Band, Leonard Skinner, on their final tour ever. Tickets are on sale now at selectaseat.com, the venue box office, or charged by phone. Leonard Skinner, playing in Trust Bank Arena one last time.
And we welcome you back as we head down to the bottom half of the sixth inning. The Seattle Studs will bring up right fielder number 10, Landon Ryker. Once again, the score, Dodge City 3, Seattle 2. And Robert Gonzales coming in for his sixth inning to work the first pitch, hit to the shortstop. Felix goes to first for out number 1. 6-3 the play. It's going to bring up the designated hitter number 23, Britton Handcart. Gonzales' first pitch is hit by Hancock to the second baseman. Jensen goes to first for out number 2. And it's a 4-3 play. And now batting for the Studs will be the second baseman, number 7, Matt Zoba.
Second baseman, number 7, Matt Zuma.
No balls in 1 strike. And second pitch is fouled off to the right-hand side. Second baseman, Jansen gets under it, makes the catch for out number 3 in foul territory. So at the end of 6 innings of play, the score, the Dodge City, Kansas A's 3 and the Seattle Washington Studs 2. And we'll be right back.
Make the most of every single moment. After the game, see what's happening at visitwichita.com.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium for the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series. Frank Martinez, your play-by-play announcer. And we're going to have a pitching change for Seattle. Pitching change. We'll be bringing in number 15, Xander Klaus. Klaus is a right-handed pitcher from Kenmore, Washington. He's a 6'2", 190-pounder, a graduate from Liberty University. And Vito is done. He pitched 6 innings through a total of 96 pitches. He gave up 3 runs on 7 hits. One earned run and had a total of 8 strikeouts. So nice job from Vito. And Klaus now the pitcher. Leading off top half the 7th inning for Dodge City, the center fielder number 1, Kyle Cullen. First pitch was a strike. Fouled off for strike 2 now. 0-2 the count. To the center fielder for Dodge City. There's a ball hit to right over the shortstop. Shortstop jumps up and makes the catch. Nice job there by Colin Wolf for out number 1. It's going to bring up the third baseman, number 30, Adam Holler. Holler got a base hit in the 4th inning, but was left stranded at second base. Reached on an error in the 3rd inning and scored a run and struck out in the 1st inning. Swing and a miss. Count goes 0-2 now to Adam Holler. Who's 1 for 3, scored 1 run and struck out once. Ball hit to the shortstop. Wolf.
First baseman, number 31, Conor Van Cleave.
To Cheney for out number 2. 6-3 the play. It's going to bring up the first baseman, number 31, Conor Van Cleave. Van Cleave is 1 out of 3 with a run scored and 1 strikeout. Call strike 1, 0-1 now the count to Van Cleave, left-handed batter. There's a swing and a miss now by Van Cleave. So the count goes to no balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs here in the top half of the 7th inning. And Dodge City leading 3-2 over the Seattle Washington Studs. There's a swing and a miss for strike 3. And at the end of 6.5, once again, it's the A's 3 and the Studs 2. And we'll be right back.
Never-ending summer featuring 311 and the Offspring. September 9th in Trust Bank Arena. With special guest Gym Class Heroes. Tickets on sale now at selectaseat.com or by phone at 855-755-SEAT. 311 and the Offspring in concert.
And we're back as we just enjoyed Take Me Out to the Ball Game by the fans. We're in the bottom half of the 7th inning, and batting will be the first baseman number 3, Henry Cheney for Seattle.
Number 3, Henry Cheney.
So Cheney from Gig Harbor, Washington. They fouled that off. So the count goes no balls, 2 strikes. He replaced Arrington at first base. And Gonzales still throwing for Dodge City. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gonzales doesn't take very much time up there on the mound. He's ready to go. And they're just missing outside. The count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Henry Cheney. There's a hard hit ball to the right-hand side, but it looks like it's going to be foul. Chasing is the first baseman. Van Cleave not able to get to it. So the count stays at 2-2. As we're in the bottom half of the 7th inning here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium along the banks of the Arkansas River, not Arkansas River. And there's a foul ball to the right-hand side. Now, if you were in Arkansas, you may call that the Arkansas River. But when you're in Kansas, it's the Arkansas River. Missing outside, so the count goes to 3 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Here in the bottom half of the 7th, Seattle Studs batting, and missing inside and high was Gonzales. So Cheney reaches on a base on balls. And it's going to bring up the catcher number 2, Garrett Brady. Brady hit a home run in the 2nd inning to tie the ball game up, as Dodge City has scored 1 run in the top half of the 2nd inning. There's a throw down to first base. By Opetz. And safely back was Cheney. 1 ball, no strikes. Brady attempts to bunt but pulls back. And it's called ball 2. Again, he hit a home run in that second inning. And then Dodge City came back and scored 2 runs in the third. Studs came back and scored 1 in the fourth. In the bottom of the fourth to make it 3-2. That's where we stand at now. But we do have a runner at first base, a tying run for Dodge City, for Seattle Studs. And that one fouled off, attempt butt. It looks like point streak has quit working. Let me update here, see if I can. There's a mount laid down. Goes to Gonzales. Gonzales attempts to go to second base, and the ball fell out of his glove. And Brady will be on at first base. And Cheney will be at second base. And now the coach for Dodge City is coming in to talk to Gonzales. Once again, that bunt was laid down right back to the pitcher, Gonzales, and he thought he was going to go to second base. As he looked up, the ball comes out of his glove in his hands, and Cheney and Brady are both safe. That brings up the left fielder, number 4, Jacob Hirsch. There's a bunt laid down to Gonzales. Gonzales goes to third, gets Cheney at third base. Nice play by Gonzales on a 1-5 put out. So Brady will be at second base. Hirsch will reach on a fielder's choice. And that brings up the center fielder, number 5, Conor Savage, is now the batter. Left-handed batter. Had grounded out to second base in the first inning. Flew out the third baseman in the third and had a sacrifice 1-3. As he moved Hirsch over to second base in the 5th inning. There's a ball hit up the middle and stopped by the second baseman, Jansen. But the runner holds up, Brady holds up at third base. So now we're going to have bases full with Brady at third base, Hirsch at second, and Savage in with a base hit as the ball went off the second baseman's glove, Jansen, but he was able to stop it to keep it from going into center field, or else Brady would have scored from third base. Now batting the shortstop, number 28, Colin Wolf. Ball missing outside. 1-0 now the count. Bases full with 1 out. Here in the bottom half of the 7th inning, and the Seattle Washington Studs threatening here in the bottom half. And Gonzales pitch, missing high and outside. 2-0 now. And here's Gonzales' pitch. Missing high and outside. 3-0 now from Gonzales. And he's got nowhere to put Colin Wolf. See what coach has for Wolf. Taking. Call strike 1 on the outside corner. So the count is 3 balls, 1 strike. Runners at first, second, and third base with 1 out. And a swing and a miss by Colin Wolf. So the count goes full now, 3-2. And Robert Gonzales still fighting for his life here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Trying to keep that 3-2 lead. And a swing and a miss, a strikeout by Robert Gonzales to strike out Wolf, the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up the third baseman, number 6, Kyle Bowe. And that was the 4th strikeout by Gonzales, and that was a big one. There's call, strike 1 to Bowe. As Gonzales gone 6 2/3 innings, has given up 8 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned run, 3 base on balls, and 4 strikeouts. Ball is inside, and the ball got away from the catcher. Opitz, but was able to recover it, so nobody moved up. Brady at third base, Hirsch at second, and Savage at first. To count 1-1 now to Kyle Bowe. And there's a swing and a hit to center field. Center fielder Cullip calls for it, makes the catch for out number 3. And a great job there by Robert Gonzales to get out of the inning. And at the end of 7 innings of play, it is Dodge City 3 and Seattle 2. And we'll be right back.
Make the most of every single moment. After the game, see what's happening at visitwichita.com.
Well, we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium, and Sweet Caroline being played. A fan favorite here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium. Well, Dodge City and Robert Gonzales did a great job of getting out of that 7th inning as they had bases loaded with 1 out. Was able to get out of the inning. Had a strikeout and a fly out to center field. Now batting in the top half of the 8th inning for Dodge City. Second baseman number 22, Owen Jansen. Left-handed batter for Dodge City. Call strike 1. Once again, Xander Klaus now the pitcher. Is in his 2nd inning to work. There's a ball hit to the right-hand side. Zuma goes to Cheney for out number 1. 4-3 put out for out number 1. That's going to bring up the designated hitter number 4, Dayton Cook. Dayton Cook is 1 out of 3. Has 1 run scored and 1 strikeout. Had a base hit in the 2nd inning and also there's foul ball. 0-2 the count. And there's a ball hit to the shortstop. Woof. And the ball gets away from the first baseman as that throw was low. And Cook will head down to second base. On the air by Seattle.
Left fielder, number 12, Jordan Vukovich.
Now batting the left fielder, number 12, Jordan Vukovich. With the runner at second base and one out. An error has been charged to Seattle. And there's the pitch by Klaus. Missing high for ball one. There is some action in the Seattle Washington Studs bullpen. Looks like it's number 19. Swing and a miss. So the count goes to 1-1 now. Number 19 is Anthony Brady that's warming up in the bullpen. So we'll keep an eye on that as we are in the top half of the 8th inning. Dayton Cook at second base with one out. There's going to be a pickoff throw that almost gets away. Klaus threw that to the second base side, and a nice job there by Wolf to keep the ball from going out into center field. So Cook stays at second base. And the count's still 1-1. There's a pitch by Klaus missing inside and high. So we got 2 balls and 1 strike to Dayton Cook. Designated hitter for Dodge City. And there's a swing and a miss. Correction. That's Vukovich. Cook's the second guy at second base. We can tell it's 12 after midnight here. This announcer's getting just a little bit tired. There's a foul ball along the right-hand side. Looked down and looked at the wrong name. My apologies. So the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out here in the top half of the 8th inning. There's Klaus's pitch, missing high and outside. We are at full count now, 3-2. There's a ball hit up the middle. Klaus attempted to make the catch, but went by his glove, and scoring from second base will be Dayton Cook. Vukovich is on with his 3rd hit of the game and an RBI. Now takes the score to Dodge City 4 and Seattle 2 here in the top half of the 8th inning. Now batting will be the shortstop number 2, Zach Felix. They're showing Felix 1 for 3 with 1 RBI and 1 strikeout. That base hit had to have been in the 2nd inning, with that RBI in the 2nd inning, as Cook scored the first run of Dodge City. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike now to Zach Felix. We have a runner at first base with 1 out. As Dodge City just scored a run, there's a pickoff attempt by Klaus. Vukovich back in plenty of time. And there's a pitch outside, misses outside for 3-1 now to Zach Felix. Xander Klaus goes back to first base. And we have a timeout by home plate umpire. And the umpire now is Travis Olson at home plate, as home plate umpire Kevin Rain had to be replaced after taking a foul ball. That stunned him. That's ball 4 now to Zach Felix, so he hits down to first base on a base on balls. Vukovich at second base. And now batting the catcher, number 23, Casey Opitz. First pitch by Klaus is called strike 1. 0-1 the count now. Here's called strike 2, hitting the inside corner. No balls, 2 strikes. Runners at first and second with 1 out here in the top half of the 8th inning. There's a swing and a miss by Opitz. Dodge City up 4-2. So that's the second out of the inning. It's going to bring up a pinch hitter for Dodge City. It's going to be number 24. It's going to be Blaine Ray. He's from Ottawa, Kansas. He's a 5'11", 200-pounder from the University of Kansas. So Blaine Ray will pinch hit now for Dodge City. And we'll see if he goes out to right field in the bottom half of the 8th inning or not. 2-0 now the count to Ray. Xander Klaus ready for the delivery. Call strike 1. 2 balls, 1 strike. As Ray sees his first action, there's the ball hit to the shortstop. Woof, and makes the catch for out number 3. Not until Dodge City scores 1 run. So at the end of 7.5 innings of play, it is Dodge City 4 and Seattle 2. We'll be right back.
Pain, back pain, all kinds of sprains. If your knee replacement aches when it starts to rain, at Advanced Physical Therapy, we treat that. At Advanced Physical Therapy, we treat that. Concussions, arthritis, carpal tunnel, too, fibromyalgia, Parkinson's, we've got the treatment for you. At Advanced Physical Therapy, we treat that. At Advanced Physical Therapy, we treat that. One-on-one sessions with a personal touch. Ask our thousands of patients why they love us so much. At Advanced Physical Therapy, we treat that. At Advanced Physical Therapy, we treat that.
And we welcome you back here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium, 84th National Baseball Congress World Series, powered by Westar Energy. Frank Martinez, your play-by-play announcer. As we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning, we're going to have a pitching change for Dodge City. Now pitching for Dodge City will be number 25, Trevor Munch. He's a left-handed thrower from Lawrence, Kansas, 6'5", 175-pounders. From the University of Oklahoma. So Dodge City's Gonzales. Robert Gonzales pitched a total of 7 innings, gave up 8 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned run, 3 base on balls, and had 4 strikeouts as he faced 30 batters here in the ball game. Leading off the bottom half of the 8th inning for the Studs will be the right fielder, number 10, Landon Ryker. And Munch comes in with a ball to start off, as he's seen his first action here in the NBC World Series this year. Call, strike one. Count moves to 1 ball, 1 strike. And Seattle down 4-2 here in the bottom half of the 8th inning to Dodge City. Fouled off to the third base side. So the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Landon Ryker, the right fielder for the Seattle Studs. And a ball hit over the shortstop's head. Felix attempting to make the catch, but Ryker is in with his second hit of the game, as he had a base hit in the first inning and now one in the 8th inning. Now batting for Seattle will be the designated hitter, number 23, Britton Handcart. Hancock is 1 out of 3, has scored 1 run, and has 1 strikeout, batting .333 here for the tournament. And there's a pitch low and outside. Nice job by Opetz to make the stop with a runner at first base, Ryker, who just reached on a base hit. Again, we're in the bottom half of the 8th inning. A pitch by Munch missing outside. 2-1 now the count to Hancock. Left-handed designated hitter. And missing high and inside. It's Munch. Now takes the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. There's a ball hit fouled off, and the catcher, Petz, takes his mask off and makes the catch for out number 1. Nice job there by Trevor Munch. That got him on the handles and just fouled it off behind the catchers. Was able to track it down for the out. Going to bring up the second baseman, number 7, Matt Opa. First pitch is ball 1. Opa is 1 out of 3. Batting .333. So he got that base hit in the 4th inning. 2-0 now the count to him. The umpire says he did go, so count goes to 2 balls, 1 strike. Opa tried to hold up, was unable to. Munch missing outside. 3-1 to count now. 3 balls, 1 strike with a runner and first base and 1 down here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. There's a foul ball. So the count's going to go full now, 3-2. Again, Seattle Studs down 4-2 to Dodge City. Strike three called to Matt Opa. And Munch gets a needed strikeout for out number 2. He records his first strikeout of the game. That's going to bring up the first baseman number 3, Henry Cheney. First pitch from Munch is high and outside. 1-0 now the count. Once again, Ryker at first base. Got on a base hit. We do have 2 down, though. That missing outside. 2-0 now the count to Henry Cheney. Trevor Munch pitch hitting that outside corner. So 2-1 now the count to Cheney. And there's a ball hit into right field. Right fielder Ray makes the catch for out number 3. So at the end of 8 innings of play, it is the Dodge City Kansas A's 4 and the Seattle Washington Studs 2. We'll be right back. And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium. Matchup between the Dodge City A's and the Seattle Washington Studs. Dodge City's up 4-2 as we go to the top half of the 9th inning. And we're going to have a pitching change now for Seattle. Now pitching will be number 19, Anthony Brady. Brady is from Idaho Falls, Indiana. He's 6 foot, 210-pounder, senior out of the University of Northern Colorado. And he'll be facing the center fielder number 1, Kyle Cullen. Ball 1 from Brady. And Xander Klaus ends up pitching 2 innings, had 1 hit, 1 run, no earned runs, 1 base on balls, and had 2 strikeouts. So now Anthony Brady comes on in relief. The count is 1 ball, 2 strikes to Kyle Cullen, leadoff hitter. Fouled off. It's the ball. It's up into the seats. And another souvenir for an NBC fan. 1-2 the count. Missing outside is Brady. And the count goes 2-2 now. To the center fielder for Dodge City. There's a swing and a miss for strike 3. And the first out of the top half of the 9th inning as Brady records his first strikeout of the ball game. Brings up the third baseman, number 30, Adam Holler. Holler is 1 for 4, has scored 1 run and has 1 strikeout. Batting .250. This is a swing and a miss by Holler. Brady throws that 90 miles per hour, bringing the heat for the Seattle Studs. Missing inside was Brady, so that evens out the count to 1 ball, 1 strike now, with 1 out here in the top half of the 9th inning. And a swing and a miss by Adam Holler. Takes the count now to 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a ball hit along the first base side, foul. Count stays the same. The ball reached the Dodge City A's bullpen. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And here comes Anthony Brady with the pitch. Fouled off by Holler to keep the count at 1-2. Once again, Dodge City scored in the 2nd inning. Seattle tied it up at the bottom half of the 2nd. Then Dodge City came back and scored 2 runs in the top of the 3rd. Then Seattle scored 1 in the 4th, bottom half of the 4th. And then we were scoreless until the 8th inning, where Dodge City put another run up to make it 4-2. That's where we stand. Another fouled off there by Holler. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitch missing outside from Brady. Count goes to 2-2 now. As we're reaching close to 12:30 here in the morning. And a swing and a miss by Adam Holler. And Brady records his 2nd put out of the inning and 2nd strikeout of the game. Brings up the first baseman, number 31, Conor Van Cleave. Van Cleave is 1 out of 4. Scored 1 run and has struck out twice. Batting .250. 1-0 now the count to Van Cleave. And Brady missing outside, low and outside. You can tell that Van Cleave is a pretty good-sized kid because Brady's 6 foot and he looks short compared to Van Cleave. And that ball hits the right field, makes a catch for out number 3. And at the end of 8.5 innings of play, it is the Dodge City A's 4 and the Seattle Washington Studs 2. We'll be right back.
The city's not just built, it's grown to the needs of people. You make the infrastructure, the muscle, bone, and circulation, so natural to the body of the city that you almost forget they're even there.
Well, we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumas Stadium as we're going to the bottom half of the 9th inning. And in the warm-ups, somehow the pitcher, number 25, Trevor Munch, went down. Not sure if it was one of the throws from the infield or whether it was a throw back from the catcher. But he's back up and looks like he's okay. Shaking it at right foot or right ankle area. I was looking up some stats here, and all of a sudden I see him down on the ground, and people were running in his area. Now they are going to be calling somebody in this way. I think what happened was, now I see what happened now. They're calling for the grounds crew. So apparently when he threw the pitch, he must have stepped wrong and went down. So they are calling the grounds crew out to fix the problem. Like I say, I didn't see exactly what happened, but I just saw that he went down and wasn't sure if he got hit but they are calling for the grounds crew to fix a problem on the mound. It was that right foot ankle area. Shaking it off as much as he can. He's now running it out a little bit, or trotting it out, should say. But the grounds crew's coming out. A lot of times, like I say, this is a turf stadium. The only place where there's dirt, and that is the pitcher's mounds. And that includes the bullpen area. But otherwise, the home plate area is all turf. Bases are all turf. And even the warning track is all turf. So the grounds crew is out there working on the problem area for Trevor Munch. And looks like he's going to be okay. He is kind of stepping in the area where he went down. Say we did have an umpire go down. That was Kevin Rain. started off at home plate and was hit by a foul ball. Had to be relieved and was by the first base umpire, Travis Olson. Munch is a 6'5", 175-pounder. And that landing area is just a little bit different for him than for Anthony Brady, who was standing at 6 foot. But a lot of times these pitchers will dig out a spot, and I think that's what happened there. But it looks like he's going to be okay. And the Seattle Studs are down to their final 3 outs here, as they are down 4-2 in this first day of the championship round. Our games today so far, the first game was the Wellington Heat defeating San Diego, California Stars 7-4. And then in the second game, it was Santa Barbara, California Forsters 18 and the Lone Star Texas Baseball 5. And Santa Barbara scored 16 runs in 2 innings to defeat Lone Star. And the third game, it was the Hayes, Kansas Larks 7 over the Clarinda, Iowa Ace 7-2. And now Dodge City is up on the Seattle Washington Studs. So now batting will be the catcher number 2, Garrett Breda, as Seattle's down to their final 3 outs. And a strike one as Trevor Munch comes in with a fastball. There's another pitch, and they ask first base umpire Spisak whether he went or not, and says no, so the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike to Breda. 2-1 now the count, 73 miles an hour pitch from Munch. There's a strike 2. That goes right over the plate. So the count goes to 2 balls, 2 strikes with no outs here in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Seattle down 4-2. They have out-hit Dodge City, as they've recorded 9 base hits, and Dodge City has 8. But also Studs have had 3 errors in the ball game. There's a swing and a miss. Ball gets away from the catcher, and Breda hustles down to first base. So he'll be on at first. It's going to bring up the left fielder, number 4, Jacob Hirsch. As Breda reaches first base on a drop, 3rd strike. And the count is 1-0 now to Jacob Hirsch. Two-0 now the count. And Trevor Munch Comes in with a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. Runner at first base with no outs here in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Munch pitch missing just outside. So the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike now. And there's the ball hits to the first baseman, touches the bag, goes to second base, but safely at second base is Brady. That was Van Cleave. As the ball was hit to him, he touched on the base and then went to Felix at second base, who was covering, but Brady was in there safely. So we have 1 down. It's going to bring up the left center fielder, number 5, Conor Savage. So we go unassisted 3 at first base for out number 1. Now Munch's pitch, call strike 1. As he comes in at 86 miles per hour. Fastball. And Savage had a base hit his last time at bat in the 7th inning. Was left stranded as Seattle left the bases loaded in the bottom half of the 7th inning. 1-1 the count now. He squares around a bunt. Munch gets the ball, but he's not going to be able to make a play, so we have a base hit by Conor Savage with the third baseman playing back. Munch, a left-hander, was able to get to the ball, but was not able to make a throw to first base. So Savage records his second hit of the game, and that's going to bring up the shortstop, number 28, Colin Wolf. How big and important is that third drop strike now, as the Seattle Studs are threatening with runners at first and second and 1 out. The tying run now at first base. Call strike 1 to Colin Wolf. Colin Wolf has 2 hits. As he's 2 for 3. He has 1 base on balls and 1 strikeout, batting .667. And there's Munch's pitch. Ball hit foul ball along the third base side. And Munch goes ahead now 0-2 to Colin Wolf. We have runners at first and third base with 1 out here in the bottom half of the 9th inning for Seattle. And there's Munch's pitch missing low and inside. So the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Again, Brady standing at third base and Savage at first. Munch's pitch missing high and outside. Trying to get that outside corner. But the count now goes to 2-2 now. And there goes the runner from second base to second base, and he's in safely. So Savage has a stolen base. Brady's at third base, and the count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Looks like Wolf was taking that all the way, knowing that was outside. There's ball 4. So now the bases are loaded for the Seattle Studs. And here comes the coach for Dodge City. It looks like we're going to have a pitching change for Dodge City. Looks like it's going to be number 16 coming in for Dodge City. And we'll see who that is. That is Brock Nolan. Correction, I believe that's Naughton. That's a T instead of an L. My bad. From Ketchum, Oklahoma. He is 6'1", 175 pounders. Went to Rogers State University. So he's coming in relief. And he's going to have bases loaded. With only one out here in the bottom half of the ninth inning. Now the tying run is at second base. While we're waiting for our next batter, tomorrow's action, we have the Colorado Cyclones versus the Colorado Black Bears. Colorado Black Bears making their first NBC appearance. Then at 3 o'clock, we have the NJC, National Junior College national team against the San Diego, California Force. Our feature game tomorrow will be Cheney, Kansas Diamond Dogs versus the San Diego, California Waves. And a 9:30 game will be San Antonio, Texas Angels, our first week qualifier, versus the Everett, Washington Merchants. Nottin's pitch was a strike. It is 0-1 now. The batter is Kyle Bowe. Once again, bases loaded. There's a ball hit to the second baseman. Jansen goes to Felix, and 1 run scores. And that's about as far as he went. So Brady scores from third base. Savage goes to second. We had a force out 4-6. At second base for out number 2. And Bowe reaches on a fielder's choice. That's going to bring up the right fielder, number 10, Landon Ryker. Ryker is 2 for 4 here in the ball game and in this tournament, batting .500. And the first pitch is high for ball 1 inside. Ryker had to get out of the way of that one. So we have runners at first and third with 2 outs. The score 4-3 in favor of Dodge City. And there's a foul ball along the right-hand side. Van Cleave gets under it, makes the catch for out number 3. And the Dodge City Kansas A's defeat the Seattle Washington Studs 4-3, the final score. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you very much for joining us here this evening. A great ball game as the Dodge City Kansas A's defeat Seattle 4-3. Once again, our action tomorrow. We have the first week qualifier, the Colorado Cyclones versus the Colorado Black Sox at 1 o'clock. 3:30, the National Junior College team versus the San Diego, California Force at 3:30. 7 o'clock game. Our feature game will be the Cheney, Kansas Diamond Dogs versus the San Diego, California Waves. And Our 9:30 game will be the San Antonio, Texas Angels versus the Everett, Washington Merchants. I'll see you tomorrow evening as I'll have the call for the 9:30 game here on YouTube. We hope you enjoyed tonight's action. The final score, Dodge City 4 and Seattle 3. We wish you a good evening.